She had lived alone for so many years that silence had become both her prison and her shield, the quiet of her cabin in the hills a constant reminder of all she had lost, and yet the world outside kept spinning with families laughing, children running, neighbors celebrating while she sat behind her old wooden door with only the wind and the ticking clock for company. Her name was Eleanor, and once upon a time she had known joy, love, and the warmth of a family, but a tragic accident had stolen her husband and her little girl on a rainy road one night, leaving her broken, unwilling to let anyone close again, so she built her life around solitude, convincing herself that she needed no one and that no one would need her, until one stormy evening when the autumn sky grew heavy and the first drops of rain began to fall, there came a knock at her door, a knock so unexpected that her heart leapt in both fear and curiosity, and when she pulled it open she found herself staring at a man who seemed larger than life, a giant rancher with broad shoulders, soaked clothes, and weary eyes, cradling in his arms a small baby wrapped in a faded quilt, the child's face red from the cold, and his voice, deep and low, trembled not with strength but with desperation as he asked, "Ma'am, I don't mean to trouble you, but can we stay one night?" And for a moment Eleanor froze, unsure if she was dreaming, for it had been years since anyone had sought her help, yet something in his tone, something in the way his arms tightened protectively around that baby, stirred the long-buried well of compassion within her, and before she could stop herself she stepped aside and nodded, allowing them into her silent world, where the fire still smoldered weakly in the hearth, and as he set the baby gently on her worn sofa, she felt an ache she had not allowed herself to feel in years, the ache of purpose, of connection, of remembering what it meant to be human. She hurried to throw more wood into the fire, to heat some milk, to find dry towels, all the while stealing glances at the stranger who, though strong and imposing, looked like a man on the edge of surrender, his eyes heavy with untold stories, his hands trembling slightly as he tended to the baby, and when Eleanor asked where he was headed, he sighed and admitted that his wife had passed a year ago, that the ranch had fallen into debt, and that he was traveling with his daughter to seek work, to find a place where she might grow up safe, and though his words were few, the weight of them settled heavily in her heart, for she recognized in him the same loneliness, the same battle against grief and survival that she herself had fought, only he carried not just his pain but the fragile hope of a child who depended on him. As the night deepened, the storm raged outside, but within her cabin a strange warmth began to bloom, the kind that comes when souls recognize each other's wounds, and while the baby slept peacefully in Eleanor's arms, the rancher spoke softly of the land he once loved, of the cattle and horses, of his wife's laughter that still haunted him, and Eleanor found herself listening, truly listening, as though each word were stitching together pieces of her own shattered heart, and before long she was sharing too, telling him of the daughter she had lost, of the husband who had kissed her goodbye that morning and never returned, of the years of silence that had followed, and the rancher did not judge or pity her, he simply listened with the patience of someone who understood, and in that moment of shared grief there blossomed something unexpected, understanding, respect, and a fragile thread of hope that perhaps broken people could still help each other heal. When morning came, the storm had passed, but neither of them was eager to leave the small world they had created overnight. The baby gurgled happily in Eleanor's arms as though she too felt the warmth of safety, and when the rancher rose to go, Eleanor's chest tightened with a fear she had not felt in years, the fear of losing again, and she surprised herself when she said, "You don't have to leave just yet, stay a little longer." Her voice soft but firm, and though he hesitated, the exhaustion in his eyes gave way to relief. And so days turned into weeks, weeks into months, as the rancher helped mend her broken fences, chop wood, bring life back to her small plot of land, while Eleanor cared for the baby, her arms and heart rediscovering the rhythm of nurturing, and together they formed an unlikely family born not of blood but of compassion and shared pain. There were moments of struggle, yes, times when the rancher's pride flared or when Eleanor's fear of loss made her retreat into silence, but the baby's laughter always pulled them back, reminding them of what truly mattered. And as the seasons changed, the cabin no longer echoed with emptiness but with voices, laughter, even the occasional song hummed softly at night, until one evening under a sky painted with stars, the rancher, his voice trembling not with fear but with hope, asked her if she had ever thought about starting again, about letting love return, and Eleanor, tears glistening in her eyes, realized that the wall she had built had not protected her but imprisoned her, and that by opening her door that one stormy night, she had opened her heart to a new chapter. So she nodded, whispering, "Yes, I think I have," and in that moment she understood that compassion, even in the smallest act of letting a stranger in, can ripple into a transformation neither could have imagined, and the story of a woman who had lived alone for years became the story of a woman who chose to live again, surrounded not by silence but by family, by love, by the simple yet profound truth that no one is meant to walk through life alone, and her once lonely cabin became a beacon of hope, a testament to the healing power of kindness, proving to anyone who heard her tale that opening your door, your heart, even for just one night, can change everything forever.